UK, not for the faint-hearted.
We're on.
You're missing the mic tonight.
We're back. Yes, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Sometimes I take the microphone down. Yeah, but it wasn't. We were having a conversation because I was just trying to demonstrate to Matt that actually when there's silence on the radio or on a podcast or whatever, you don't go, oh, I'll go and listen to radio too. You don't, you just kind of go, hello.
Nobody listens to find out what's going to happen, why it's gone off.
Yeah.
Well, no, because surely there's silence, so you're not going to find out.
Well, you never know.
You don't know how long the silence is. It's like an unknown entity. It's quite exciting.
Who's heard of a Mersey poet called, he was in Scaffold. Anybody heard of Scaffold? Marcus has heard of Scaffold.
No.
He was, John Gorman, not John Gorman, the other one, the intelligent. Anyway, he was a bit of a poet, and he wrote a poem about 5 people who were shipwrecked on a desert island. 4 men and a woman. And he wrote a verse about the first man, and then a verse about the second man, and a verse about the third man, and a verse about the fourth man. And the 5th verse was just, and the woman, ... Okay. So he's making some kind of a point there. Anyway, he was horrified to discover that his poem was being used in the O-levels, English literature O-levels in Newcastle, and he so opposed to the exam system that he asked them to pull his poem out, and they said, no, you can't. It's in the public domain where we can use any piece of literature we want. So, he went up to Newcastle and he took his own poem as an email, as an O-level. He sat his own poem, right?
Presumably the question was to fill out what the woman did.
But no, he sat there and here is a poem by Roger McGough. That's it. Here's a poem by Roger McGough. He said, please tell us what you think. So he wrote what he thought about his own poem, right? And he failed.
I knew you were going to say that.
He failed.
That's atrocious.
And he's seen the paper marked by whoever marked it and failed him on his own poem because one of the questions was, who is the most interesting person on the island? And Roger McGough replied, the woman, because she is just silence. And the examiner next to it just put, wrong. Wrong! And it was his own friggin'
Did he ever confront the examiner and make him realise how much of a twat they'd been?
I don't think he was allowed to actually find out who'd done the examining on it. But isn't that... I tell that because silence can be sometimes, and God, don't I illustrate it from time to time, more interesting than anything else. But also I like that because I'm not keen on exams myself.
I hate exams.
I just took an exam this week, passed 75%.
Well done. What was that?
Project management.
Right.
I was just telling Matt how so much of a boring experience I've had this week. 5 days of training, watching a whiteboard with a pad in front of me. I can tell you there's nothing more boring than just sitting there looking at a white screen for 8 hours.
I can't believe you passed at 75%.
It was good. Well, the pass mark was 50.
What?
Anybody fail? But on the plus side, I beat my boss who did the same course, so it was 1 up. So.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
It is nice when you pass them, but they're bollocks, really.
So now if I'm running a project, something that will take you 5 days, now doing it the proper way will take you 25 days.
Yeah.
Okay.
What are you going to do with this qualification now you got it?
Fuck all.
Fuck all.
See, the only qualifications, the only things I've ever, like, college courses I've passed, etc., have been non-exam based. So I learn on the job, so to speak. Practically.
I remember, yes. You often bring the conversation.
You do learn
around.
on the job, don't you? There's nothing like on the job for learning, is there?
Marcus, did you ever have a chance to listen to Matt's brilliant explanation of how the modern young man puts on the condom on the first date?
I can't honestly. No, I don't believe that's the conversation you and I have had.
He's good
with your appraisal approaching.
He's very good with his appraisal approaching. Do you want to just remind us how you do it? Because all I said, Marcus, was I'm from the generation where there was no sexual disease that would kill you. Condoms were if you were absolutely certain that the girl wasn't on the pill.
Yeah.
Because when I was a boy, young man, there was no AIDS. And it's awful for people who have to put up with that and deal with that. And most girls were on the pill. So I didn't use a condom till I was about like 40, and it was with my wife, and therefore... You know, it's just,
it was just for a bit of fun, really.
Really. Well, you know, boring, and so I still get them inside out sometimes. So you can't. That one. However, Matt stepped in and told us how you get the condom on the first date where you don't want to have to discuss it.
Would you like me to demonstrate?
Damn well would not.
Okay, end of the bed, right, girl, legs, oral sex, yeah? Okay, you with me?
Sorry.
Reach over to grab the condom.
Yes.
While you're doing it.
Yes.
Open it up.
Yes.
Find out which way. On we go, and then you're upping.
Whilst you're doing
Whilst you're giving oral sex.
Or on the first date?
Well,
on the first time in bed?
First time in bed, yeah.
Good for you, son. Good for you. Very good. Very
always, rule number one, always kiss the girl all over her body and perform oral sex before you do anything else.
What are you doing after the show? Well, Marcus.
I was just thinking I've had worse. Okay, where are we going now, Stuart?
Do you want to do the phone calls that have been going?
Yep, okay. Good day, you're on Play Radio's Sort of Human Zoo line. Hello.
The show must go on.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
You have
That's great.
just over 30 minutes left to convince me. Just over 30 minutes left to convince me.
I think we should hold you to a decision before 10 o'clock comes.
That's brilliant. So, do you want to go through some email that we haven't gone through yet?
Yeah,
so,
come on.
Carl says, Zara. So I'm guessing this is an opinion piece about Zara, as we asked what opinions were for her. She's like one of those women you'd really have been disappointed by in bed. She's a boring attention seeker. I guess I don't like West Londoners, especially that woman. Zara, fuck off the lot of you. Go count your allowance.
Nah, that's harsh, because having met the woman last week, I actually thought she was very pleasant.
I thought she was very nice, yeah, but that was one opinion as she asked,
she's
I guess.
not bad looking either, you know.
Yeah, not bad.
She's aged
not
well.
Bad, yeah.
But that person was allowed to express that opinion on Play Radio.
And that is the point.
And, to top it off, she was single.
Yes, indeed, yes.
Terry says, hello gang, where does the word Nazi really come from? I once read that it comes from the Ashkenazi race of Jewish people. There are two types stroke races of Jews. That is the Ashkenazi white-skinned and the Sephardi dark-skinned. And I think some don't like each other for some reason or another, though I may be entirely wrong. If so, someone who is Jewish listening, or any of the US callers, could perhaps comment or clear this up. Cheers, Terry. Mark Pearson says, on the subject of cross-dressing and the police force, I once dressed up as a woman for a fancy dress party, but was arrested on the way by the police for attempted prostitution. The policeman then drove me to an alleyway and tried to procure my services. In the most obvious way imaginable, I had to prove I really was a man. But this seemed to make the policeman even more keen. It was just like the last scene from Some Like It Hot. Never again. Matt Newport says he's been trying to phone up for ages and ages and keeps getting engaged tone or just ringing. So the point he wanted to make on the phone was, do you think the Olympics being held over here is a good thing or a waste of our money, and should that money be spent on the NHS, stroke, transport, etc.?
It's just another thing that we're going to fail at in this time in our own country.
England. Country of losers. It's great, isn't it?
We've been doing it for years.
Andrew Nixon says, hi gang, can I just ask Tommy if he thinks Irvin has a hidden agenda or whether he is merely being contentious?
I don't know, because I haven't heard him say anything. Nobody will let him speak. Nobody should have an opinion on the man. Nobody should even be asking questions about his opinion, because nobody knows what his opinion is. Because nobody's heard it. He's written books, I grant you, but he has to set up his own bookshop because no bookshops will carry his books.
Yep.
Is that right?
And I'm not frightened of what somebody else thinks.
No.
And it's not going to make me... there are sheep. James Watson, who's another person that nobody allows to speak, thinks that Africans are sheep or something, not clever enough to deal with their own economic problems.
You know what annoys me?
But I just want to know what these people actually think. Okay? Emailer, thank you for that.
The person that mailed in earlier on Upside Down wanted to know whether or not he should tell his sister about wearing her clothes.
Yes.
Has mailed back and said, Zara, can you come and give me some clothing advice? You're far too stylish.
Okay, there's all this type of flirting that's going on.
1 2 1